The day I signed my divorce papers, I thought I had finally escaped the worst betrayal of my life. After 8 years of marriage, my husband had twins. But they were not mine. They were my sister's children. I walked away without screaming, without begging, and without looking back. But when my husband went to tell his family that our marriage was over, his mother turned completely pale. She looked at him and whispered, "Wait, she didn't tell you?" That one sentence made my husband freeze. Because there was a secret I had been carrying alone, and it was the reason I left. My name is Emily Carter and I'm 29 years old. For most of my life I believed I understood what love looked like. I believed love was built through patience, forgiveness, and standing beside someone even when life became difficult. That was the kind of person I was. I was the person who stayed, who supported, and who always believed tomorrow could be better than today. I grew up in a family where loyalty was everything. My younger sister Olivia and I were never just sisters. We were best friends. At least that was what I thought. I was the older one, so I always felt responsible for protecting her. When she struggled, I helped her. When she needed advice, I listened. I never imagined that one day the person I trusted most would become someone I could barely recognize. 8 years before everything fell apart, I married Daniel. In the beginning, our marriage felt like the kind of relationship people dreamed about. He was thoughtful, patient, and he made me feel like I was the only person in the world who mattered. We built a home together, created memories together, and believed we were building a future that would last forever. But there was one thing missing from our perfect picture. A child. For 8 years, Daniel and I tried everything. We visited doctors, went through countless appointments, and held on to hope every time we thought we were close. Every month that passed without good news became harder. Every announcement from friends and family reminded me of the dream I still wanted but could not reach. Through all those painful moments, Olivia was there. He hugged me when I cried. He told me not to give up. She promised that everything would work out someday. I trusted her completely. I trusted my husband completely. And that was the hardest part to accept later. Because the two people I thought would protect my heart were the same two people who would eventually break it. At the time, I had no idea that behind those comforting words and supportive smiles, a secret was already growing that would destroy the life I thought I knew. I still remember the exact moment my entire world changed. It was a Tuesday afternoon and I was sitting at my kitchen table staring at a cup of coffee that had gone cold. Daniel had told me he would be working late and I was used to those quiet evenings alone. After 8 years of marriage, I knew his routines. I knew the sound of his footsteps, the way he left his keys on the counter, and even the way he sighed when he was stressed. I thought I knew everything about him. Then my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number from a hospital. At first, I almost ignored it. I assumed it was some mistake or a routine call meant for someone else. But something inside me told me to answer. The woman on the other end asked if I was Emily Carter. When I confirmed my name, there was a pause. A pause that felt heavier than words. She asked if I knew about the babies. I remember laughing nervously because I thought I had misunderstood her. "What babies?" I asked. Then she said something that made my hands go cold. "Your husband is listed as the father." For a few seconds I could not breathe. I asked her to repeat herself, hoping somehow I had heard the wrong thing. But she said the same words again. Daniel had twins. And the mother of those children was my sister Olivia. I felt like the entire room had shifted around me. The walls, the furniture, the memories we had created together. Everything suddenly felt like it belonged to someone else. When Daniel came home that night, I did not scream. I did not throw anything. I simply looked at him and asked one question. "Is it true?" The expression on his face answered before his words did. He tried to explain. He said things were complicated. He said it happened during a difficult time. He said he never wanted to hurt me. But none of those words could change what I had learned. The man I trusted with my heart had betrayed me. And the sister I defended my entire life had been part of it. In that moment, I realized my marriage had ended long before I ever signed the papers. I just had not known it yet. After I learned the truth, something inside me changed. The old Emily would have begged for answers. She would have cried, demanded explanations, and searched for a reason to forgive. For years, I had been the person who fought for my marriage. I was the person who believed every problem could be solved if two people loved each other enough. But this time was different. This time, the person I was fighting for was the same person who destroyed everything. I did not tell Daniel everything I knew immediately. I did not reveal every detail I had discovered. I did not give him the satisfaction of watching me fall apart. Instead, I became quiet. I started looking at everything differently. Every late night at work. Every strange phone call. Every time Olivia suddenly appeared at our house. Moments I had once ignored started connecting like pieces of a painful puzzle. The hardest part was realizing this was not just one terrible mistake. It was a series of choices. They had both made decisions that changed my life forever while I was still trying to save our marriage. I spent days gathering my thoughts not because I wanted revenge but because I wanted clarity. I needed to understand how the two people I trusted most could hide something so life-changing from me. And then I made my decision. I stopped fighting for a marriage that no longer existed. I quietly prepared the divorce papers. When Daniel saw them, he looked shocked. I think he expected anger. He expected tears. Maybe he expected me to ask him to stay. But I simply told him the truth. I cannot build a future with people who destroyed my trust. For the first time in years, I chose myself. And that decision would reveal a secret even Daniel did not know was coming. The day I signed the divorce papers was strangely peaceful. People always imagine moments like that being filled with screaming, anger, and tears. They imagine someone breaking down, begging for another chance, or demanding answers that will never come. But I did not do any of those things. I walked into that office with a calmness I never knew I had. Daniel kept looking at me like he was waiting for the woman he used to know to appear. The woman who would forgive him. The woman who would find a way to save us. But that woman was gone. 8 years of memories were sitting between us. Our first apartment. Our wedding day. The dreams we made together. The nights we cried because we wanted a child so badly. All of it was real. And yet none of it was enough to survive betrayal. When the papers were placed in front of me, my hand shook for only a second. Not because I wanted to stay but because I was saying goodbye to the future I once imagined. I signed my name. Daniel looked at me and asked if I was really doing this. I looked at him and said, I already lost my marriage the moment you chose someone else. This is just making it official. He had no answer. After we left, Daniel went straight to his mother's house. I assumed he wanted someone to comfort him or defend him. Maybe he thought his family would convince me to change my mind. But when he told his mother that our marriage was over, her reaction was not what he expected. She did not look surprised because of the divorce. She looked terrified. Her face suddenly lost all color, and she stared at Daniel like she had just realized something was terribly wrong. Then she whispered the words that would change everything. Wait. She paused. Emily didn't tell you? When Daniel heard his mother's question, he froze. For the first time since I discovered the truth, I was not there to explain myself. I was not there to defend my choices. I was not there to watch his reaction. He had to face the consequences alone. His mother looked at him carefully and asked, What exactly did Emily tell you before she left? Daniel became confused. He told her that I knew about the twins. He said I found out about Olivia and him and that was why I filed for divorce. But his mother shook her head. No, she whispered. That's not what I mean. That was when Daniel realized there was something she knew that he did not. His mother had known about the relationship for months. She had known that Olivia was pregnant. She had known Daniel was the father. But what she had not known was that I had discovered the entire truth. She thought Daniel had confessed everything to me. He never did. The woman who raised him finally saw the difference between making a mistake and hiding a betrayal. She told him that before I left, I had contacted her. Not to attack him. Not to ruin his family. I simply wanted her to know why her son's marriage was ending. And she said something that stayed with her. Emily told her, I'm not leaving because he had a problem. I'm leaving because he looked me in the eyes every day and lied. For the first time, Daniel understood. My silence was not because I was weak. It was because I was done fighting for someone who had already chosen to lose me. I did not need revenge. I just needed to walk away. And that was the one thing he never expected me to do. The hardest part about leaving Daniel was not losing him. It was accepting that the person I thought I knew never truly existed. For weeks after the divorce, I woke up expecting the pain to feel impossible. I expected to miss him. I expected to question whether I had made the right decision. And sometimes I did. But every time doubt appeared, I reminded myself of the truth. I was not walking away from a perfect marriage. I was walking away from a lie. Slowly, I started rebuilding my life. I focused on things I had forgotten while trying so hard to hold my marriage together. I spent time with friends who reminded me who I was before all of this happened. I focused on my career, my health, and the dreams I had pushed aside for years. For the first time in a long time, my future belonged only to me. I realized something important. Losing Daniel did not mean losing my chance at happiness. Losing the family I thought I had did not mean I was alone. I was still valuable. I was still worthy of love. And I was still capable of creating a beautiful life. The betrayal changed me, but it did not destroy me. It taught me that sometimes the people you lose are the same people who were preventing you from finding yourself. Looking back now, I understand that the biggest loss in my life was not losing my husband. It was losing the version of myself who kept accepting pain just because I loved someone. Daniel and Olivia taught me a painful lesson. Family is not only about blood, and marriage is not only about years spent together. Real relationships are built on honesty, respect, and the choice to protect each other. For a long time I wondered why this happened to me. But today I no longer ask that question. Because the truth is, their betrayal forced me to find my own strength. I learned that walking away from people who hurt you is not giving up. Sometimes, it is the moment you finally choose yourself. And that choice can become the beginning of the life you always deserved.